This is the story of ordinary men and women in America. Their lives have been touched by some of the great events of this century. In the late 1960s and 70s, the country appeared to be falling apart, thanks to a diversity of strong opinions about the war in Vietnam. A decade later, people tried to shed that bitter legacy. Many would regain their faith in the country, the future, and in themselves. People have always had different hopes and dreams, but in the late 1960s, the differences were tearing at the heart of the nation. A conflict was brewing between the generations.
It was a bad time to be young, but it was a good time for us. We were having a good life. We were enjoying ourselves. To everybody in the world, it was a great country, and the dollar was a great piece of money to have. And wherever you went, there was tremendous respect and regard for you and what you were able to accomplish.
Dick Manoff's roots were Jewish and Russian. His family came to America at the turn of the 20th century. Manoff had started at the bottom, but by 1969, he was an advertising executive in New York City.
I felt very optimistic. In America, you can go from one generation to another with a big change. It's amazing. I'm saying to myself, I wish my mother could see this and say she'd be very proud of what we were able to accomplish. And, you know, I have to add the words, only in America. It doesn't happen that quickly anywhere else. Only in America.
We live in an age of growing abundance. As we grow and see all that is so wonderful in our land, we may well remember it is all developed from the practical dreams of those who came before us.
I felt the pressure of that dream and that I was carrying that dream for my parents, but lots of things were different for me. So much of my life as a middle-class American was sort of hidden, and so much was about appearance, about appearing to people in a certain way.
Greg Manoff was born in 1945, the Manoff's second son. He was a teenager during a golden time for many Americans, and in 1963, he went to Harvard.
The American dream that had propelled me to Harvard, this dream of ascent and opportunity and reaching the heights, had hit a wall. The generation that comes to maturity, that is in its early 20s, in the 60s, my generation, that dream can no longer be our dream. That dream has turned into a nightmare.
Many trace that nightmare to the Vietnam War. Many young men who knew almost nothing about Vietnam were drafted to fight there. Alfredo Vea was in Vietnam in 1969. His fellow soldiers had come from all over America. He was from Buckeye Road, a place so small it wasn't even on the map. It was a camp for migrant workers in Arizona. Alfredo's grandmother raised him there.
I was in Vietnam. I barely remembered Buckeye Road sometimes. The sense of eternity, I had it when I was a child. There was a sense of immortality in Buckeye Road. The scent of things and the feel of things will always be this way. My grandmother, she was always telling me incredibly profound things, stopping me wherever I moved and holding my shoulders and telling me something very profound, most of which I've forgotten. When I last saw her, she told me she dreamed that I would be in a war.
By 1969, the war had dragged on for years, and there was no end in sight. Vea's platoon patrolled Vietnam's border with Laos.
The helicopter was being strafed down below, severely strafed, and it was hit, and the warrant officer was killed. He was trying to put the thing in auto-gyrate. I remember getting out of the helicopter we were being fired at. There was somebody there that was crying for his mother. We were fighting to keep each other alive, to get out of there, go home. That's all we were fighting for. There was nothing else for me.